It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. Welcome to the world famous Dep Lewis Show. This is episode 3, and this is your host Dep Lewis. Today is October 22nd, and it is Saturday. I'm recording a little bit early this week. I have the plan for the discussion today ready, so we're just gonna go ahead and do this thing. I appreciate you being here. Everything's still going great in the Dep Lewis world. Podcast is on the up and up. I'm getting to watch all the analytics on the back end and just see those view counts and downloads and engagements and all those kind of things go up. I believe 95% of them are probably, myself looking at these things, but there's probably a few other ones. I'm assuming there's a few. That's pretty cool. Dep Lewis Show is going great. Still getting recognized in the street. Getting meals comped. I'm getting flowers thrown at my feet. People passing out and fainting when they see me. It's really been insane. So I just thank you for all your support. I'm just a normal person just like you, so please don't treat me any different, but I really appreciate it. So kind of keep it up, all right? Thank you. So this is episode 3. Can't believe the third week's already here. Have a great lineup of things to talk to you about this week. I played some games, saw some games, and I got some gripes to talk to you about at the end, about some things I'm seeing in one of my other favorite worlds is the sports world. So thank you for being here today for the show. So we're going to start this thing off with telling you where else you can follow me and where else you can talk to me. If you want to email any questions to the show, please email DepLewisShow@gmail.com. Please follow Dep Lewis Show on Patreon, patreon.com/DepLewisShow. If you want to subscribe and support me, there's a tier for $1 a month, and you can support this podcast and this show and this content that I'm giving you once a week or whenever else I decide to give it to you. So please support me on TikTok, follow me on Twitter, Dep Lewis Show on all these places. Dep Lewis Show on Xbox, on PlayStation, Dep Lewis Show on Twitch. I'll stream sometimes. I want to try to play some Vampire Survivors on there. I said I would do that last week and didn't, but I'm going to stream some Vampire Survivors from time to time. So please follow me on Twitch. And just thank you. I'm going to try to, like always, keep getting better and better at this. So some notes for myself from last week. I need to, stop the dog barking when Splatoon gets talked about. I need to be conscious of the sniffs or the smacks or whatever that may be. I got a filter for the mic this week, so that showed up. So we're going to see if that helps. I'm wearing headphones, trying to listen more myself while I'm talking, but it's kind of a hard thing to do a little bit. I also made some other errors just from freestyle and talking on the fly. I said Splatoon instead of Cuphead at one point. I said Kill Tony comes on at 9 a.m. That's definitely 9 p.m. And that's definitely Eastern. Since this is a global podcast, you might not know what I'm talking about. So, Kill Tony, 9 p.m. Eastern. Most times I'm referencing here will be Eastern, just so you know. I also said I was finishing up the NBA playoffs, and that's not possible unless I was watching some old playoffs because the NBA season just started. I definitely meant the MLB playoffs, and I definitely haven't been watching any of that because I'm a little bit sad about the outcome of the Braves, but I'm going to check into some of that still going on this week, getting closer to the World Series, so I will try to get my terms right when I'm talking, but, I'm just freestyling out here. Freestyles are free, so that's how it goes. All right, guys, let's talk about what I've been playing this week. I've been playing a few games, a few of my old consistents from this year. I'm playing Vampire Survivors still. I decided to look up some information on this game since I don't know very much about it. I found out the developer, his name is Luca Galante, and either it's his nickname or middle name, or I'm not sure, but it might be Ponkle or Ponsel. Seems like everyone calls him Ponkle on the internet. But he was, I guess he's the sole developer of this game, and it said he quit his job in February of 2022, so that's really not too long ago in the grand scheme of things. Quit his job to focus completely on the development of this game, and was able to hire some freelancers to help in March 2022, so, great for him. Got to do this full time, and then he got to hire some other people along with him. And his game has just hit 1.0 on 10/20/22, so just this week. It officially hit 1.0. There were some tweaks and balancing. There's a handful of new achievements added to the game. There's some new languages. So it's just a great sign that if I officially hit 1.0 after early access, being last year, December of last year, being here, and I think he's getting a lot of positive attention in this game. He also talked about with this, with the Hidden 1.0, they say a new engine port of this game is coming soon. That'll increase performance and increase compatibility for more machines. So ding, ding, ding. In my head, I was thinking Switch. I said that's the end of year is the current time frame for that. So I guess if they can get that new engine port developed or created, that would allow us to maybe get some possible time frame of like a Switch announcement. And just have to be thinking that was coming. So that's pretty cool. They say your save data will carry over. And, I'm going to try to figure out how to pronounce that guy's name. I'm going to call him Ponkel. I'm just going to take a wild stab at it. Maybe not the wildest because I can read these letters. But, I don't know, Ponkel. It's probably wrong, but we're going to call him Ponkel for now. So, Vampire Survivors is really cool. I plan to play some more. I plan to try to stream it in this upcoming week. If not, just playing by myself. But it seems like a great one I could stream for about an hour. So, I'm going to try to do that later on in the week. So, just look out for me on Twitch at the Dep Lewis Show for some Vampire Survivors. It's a really great game. I also learned, which is very funny because I've been playing this game probably over 30 hours, that none of the monsters encountered in this game are even vampires. I had to read that online to realize that, which is crazy. And I believe it says the only allusion to vampires are in the name, and then the cover art for this game has a vampire shown on it. So good one on you, Mr. Ponkel, punking us with the vampires, but it definitely has a vampire aesthetic to it. But maybe there's just some like giant boss vampire in there somewhere at the end of the game is going to come out and kick our ass, and then he's going to get the last laugh. So I'm not giving him all the credit there yet. We're going to get there's a vampire lurking somewhere, and just when you think they're not, it's probably when they get your ass. So keep that in mind. But Vampire Survivors, I highly recommend it. It's definitely going to be on the top 10 Dep Lewis show games of 2022. So, that's going to be a highly regarded, respected list across the industry and across the world and the galaxy. So, just expect that game to keep doing great. And I'm going to keep playing it. Another game that I've been playing, I haven't played a whole lot this week, but another game that I'm surprised that I'm still playing and still wanting to talk about is Overwatch 2. Still playing some of that. I actually played on the Xbox. I now have it on both of my consoles. I should download it on Switch just for posterity's sake, or that's the correct word, but I'm playing it on Xbox now too. It's just so cool. I can hop on my profiles, back and forth on those two. And I got one in my bedroom and one just in the living room there. And if I want to play, being a bum laying in the bed, I can play. If I want to sit on the couch and be a bum in a different way, I can play. So it's really cool. Great way to get Overwatch 2. I think all that kind of cross-platform stuff is really, really neat. I think it's really going to keep a lot of people playing games. I play a lot of games, but I think it'll keep people playing games that would maybe not do it because it's just so accessible and easy and really, really fun. And it seems like most games are trying to go that way, so that's really neat. But in Overwatch 2, I was trying to play competitive this week. And then I wanted to come here and talk about some Lucio strategies for me since I'm a self-proclaimed Lucio expert since he's the only character I really play. Wanted to give you just a few quick strategies if you wanted to try to master the art of Lucioing. So the whole deal with Lucio, he's a support character. He has speed versus healing is the whole thing with him. So, either going really, really quick or either healing people up. So you kind of want to stay behind your team like you want to do with most support characters. But with Lucio, you can use the speed option to get them into battle quickly. So you can amplify your speed boost or amplify your heal boost by one of your like powers or whatever. It's just on a cooldown. You can do it like every 12 seconds. So it'll boost your healing or speed. So you can use the speed to get them back into battle quickly. Or if your guys are getting shot up and healed, you can heal them up. He's also got his ult, so you want to either use that, in a really bad time, his ult will punch the ground, have a big circle area effect, and it'll give everyone in that circle, a bunch of health, kind of like shields or whatever. So it's really good to use when your team's getting their ass kicked, or if your team's about to make some progress on the payload, you might want to throw that down, give yourself some momentum going in there. Lucio also has like a push that's on a recharge. But he can actually, you just push someone away from him. It's just really like a big gust of air in between them, and it knocks the dude back. So you can use it to get a guy off you, because Lucio is not the strongest fighter. You can use that to get someone off a teammate, or the greatest thing with the push is if you can knock someone off the ledge of the map. It's super awesome. So that's the main gist of Lucio. You're trying to focus on your healing, and I did find where you can see your healing stats at the end. You just have to hit back, and you can see the stats of the match. I was really wondering about that, and so I like to see that. I like to see what my healing score is at the end, and Lucio is fun to shoot with, so it's fun to see if you can get any kills. But you're basically just using your gun to kind of distract the other team. You can't pick people off for getting assists, but it's basically just more of like a nuisance because it's not like the most serious weapon. So you're just trying to sit there and heal your team. You're trying to constantly look at the countdown on the amplify, because you want to be able to keep using that over and over. You never want to not be amplifying. So whenever that recharges, you want to hit that button, and you want to either be speeding people up or healing them. So that's the main thing you're trying to do with Lucio. So he's pretty simple to play, and he moves around the map quickly and can wall ride. So I have a lot of fun playing him. I wouldn't say the lowest stakes. You have to kind of know what you're doing, but being a support character, you are falling back a little bit more, and you kind of have more of a dedicated plan. So it's just a little more simple, and it's really fun and easy to do. So I like playing Lucio, and you get extra experience for playing support characters. I saw you get 100. The game gives you, like, as an enticement, it gives you 500 battle XP for choosing support. And getting in as a support player when you're picking your role has a shorter wait time for the game too. It'll say under 2 minutes if you're trying to play support. A tank will take 10 minutes or less, and damage player will take 8 minutes or less. So you can also choose support. You can choose all, where it's like support, tank, and damage. It puts them all in one queue, and you can also get 500 battle pass experience for that. So that's pretty cool. And obviously, I guess it's trying to help out matchmaking, trying to get people to play support characters, because I believe I saw an article online saying that was kind of slowing down matchmaking as a whole, saying they need more people to play support. So I wonder if we would see the battle XP number go up that you get for doing it. Or I was also thinking, I wonder if they would maybe introduce a new character that's a little more damage focused, or I don't know, just try to give some people more reason to try to play support that might not want doing it. Like, I really kind of only like playing Lucio myself, so it is kind of a negative when you have to try to play someone else. So they need to up their game of what they're giving us, Mr. Overwatch. That might be my only suggestion there, but it's pretty cool to actually do this mechanic to balance the matchmaking out. So it's really neat, and it benefits me because I just happen to like playing support. So it's pretty neat. The robot's still really cool in this game. It's still really fun seeing him go up and down. It's nice to get an endorsement at the end of the match. Kind of feels good. Maybe had it happen like once or twice. I haven't been the nicest person. I don't think I've given any endorsements out myself, but I'm holding those endorsements really close to my chest. When I give you one, then you're really going to be like, oh yeah, he really meant it. It's not just going to be a fly by my seat of my pants endorser out here. But it's cool to get those. Overwatch 2 is really neat. I could easily see it getting into the Dep Lewis Show top 10 this year, especially if I keep playing it week to week. It's really hard just to not put it there, if that's the case. I haven't got to play any more multiplayer of this, but it's been fun playing solo, and the matches are short enough and sweet enough where you can just jump in and play some and you get a lot out of it. So Overwatch 2, if I had categories for games, it might get Surprise of the Year, but it's been doing really great, and I'm going to keep playing some more of it this week. Thought about downloading it on Switch, so we'll see if I checked out, just see what it looks like, and I will definitely let you know. But for other games I've been playing this week, that's really been about it. I really kind of need to pick something to play. I need to pick a sort of story experience game. It's not Splatoon. I've been playing Splatoon still. Played a little bit earlier today. I don't have anything great to report there. I'm actually just trying to get some matches in and trying to get my money back up in that game. Keep trying to buy more of the clothes and stuff for your locker. But I don't even believe I ranked up another rank this week. But I'm still going to be playing some Splatoon 3 this week. So these are games that I could be, continue playing and playing. So I need to kind of pick something that's a little more definite that I could start and finish. So probably think about that in the next couple days or whatever, and try to start picking something. There's obviously a lot of stuff coming out that I'm going to talk about in just a bit. There's some stuff I've been seeing out there that maybe is, sparking some interest in some games in my mind. So we'll see. Just something to let you know what I'm playing and what I'm thinking. And it's been a great week in video games as always. It's been an exceptional year. So we're going to take the quickest of quick breaks, and we're going to come back and talk about some other games that I'm seeing. Welcome back to episode 3 of the Dep Lewis Show. We're here to talk about some games I've been seeing, some games I've been thinking about, and some releases this week. The first one I want to bring up is horrifying. All the pre-release things I've seen in this game scare the fuck out of me. I knew this game was coming out sometime soon. I tried to avoid it, and I realized this game came out 10/14, so just a week ago, just like Bobby Schmurder. This game's called Scorn. So, listener beware. If you see any content about this game, prepare to be horrified, prepare to be scared. I don't know why people are into this, but apparently there is a fervor online for this game. It's an atmospheric, first-person horror adventure game set in a nightmarish universe of odd forms and somber tapestry. Created by Ebb Software. That's the tagline I read about this game, and it really is pretty scary looking. All the pre-release stuff turned me all the way off. But actually, to be honest, some of the little bit of content I've seen this week, it doesn't look as, harshly horrifying. But also doesn't look like something I want to play. But it's interesting. So I would maybe look at something else in this game just to find out what it's a little bit about. But the look of this game still creeps me out and scares me. And I'm not looking to get creeped out or scared. But if that's your thing, I'll let you know about this game. It's called Scorn. Go check it out. Might be up your alley. I don't think I'm going down that alley. Another alley I might not go down is Silent Hill 2. There was a remake announced of that. I never really played the Silent Hill game, so I can't add much flavor to this discussion, but I saw a lot of people online were excited about this, and they had a trailer come out this week. Another note about this is just, another remake coming out. And people are happy about it, so I think that's, obviously I don't have to give you that insight, but you're going to keep seeing the games get remade, but that's because there is something cool to these games getting remade. They look different, they have different updates to them, they get a little more polished, fix some old things you maybe didn't like in the old game, change them around. But people argue all the time about the prices for these and what that is, but they're giving you sort of a new experience with some of these things. They're definitely upgrading them, so you got to pay for these things, I guess. But it is your choice or not to pay for them. But Silent Hill 2 remake is coming out. Just gonna keep seeing these remakes, but seeing your old favorites or whatever reimagined is really, really cool. So kind of like the Last of Us Part 1 argument for me. I haven't played that game yet, but I want to. But I love the Last of Us games, and it'll be cool if I ever want to go back to it. There's an upgraded version to play. And those games are worth it where I would pay the money for it. So just cool. Just depends. Everything kind of depends on what you want to do. So another game that you can just check out coming soon, Silent Hill 2 Remake. And then a game that actually released this week that came out on the 20th, October 20th, is Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. It's the sequel to Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. This is a turn-based strategy, tactical RPG action adventure-ish game. It is the the Ubisoft take on the Mario world. Spoiler alert! Ding 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 ding! Spoiler! I hear that I think like in the first game, Mario gets handed a gun like within the first few minutes of seeing him on screen. So pretty big change from the normal Nintendo Mario. So these games are cool. It's supposed to be like XCOM plus Mario. Never played the first one, so I need to do that at some point if I want to play this new one. But I did watch some content this week of Sparks of Hope, and it looks really neat. Brad from Nextlander was complimenting on how well it looks and runs on the Switch. So I think that he said, most people view the Switch as being long in the tooth, but this was a great example of, utilizing the technology given to have something great. So it's really cool to keep seeing examples of that, because in my mind, I think the Switch has a good way to go. I think the Switch has some more tail to it. So really cool. Those games look really neat. I think they're just normally a normal price game for a full release if you want to play Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. That first game gets discounted all the time. I believe it's $25 right now straight up. I've seen it for like $8 a lot of times on the store, so maybe next time I see it hit a low like that, I'll just pick it up so I could try that franchise out if I'd like to. That's something cool I've seen. Another thing that came out this week to Nintendo Switch that everybody was hype about, October 21st it came out, is Persona 5 Royale. That's the game that's been on PlayStation for a minute, and then it got the Royale version, or the Royal version, the Royal version, which is supposed to be the superior version. So it's really cool that's now on Switch, because the Persona games are apparently real great in handheld. 3 and 4, or especially 4, was, I think, is considered one of the greater handheld games of all time. But these are games, can be 100 hours long. I have this game on PlayStation, so maybe I can get into playing some of that. I could also try it on the Game Pass if I wanted to. I did remember earlier that Persona 3 and 4 are coming to Game Pass in January. And, in my quest to play the start a series off early as I can, maybe I try to go play Persona 3 at some point and just hold off on the 5, since I've had it for a while and haven't played it. So I was trying to look and see if 3 and 4 were coming to other consoles, or if they were already on there. I don't believe they are, so it seems like Xbox getting a little bit of an exclusive with those, but maybe we'll see 3 and 4 on the other consoles as well when that releases on Game Pass. But Game Pass is obviously a pretty cool value. But I need to check those games out. I love the music in those games. I listen to the Persona 5 Royal soundtrack quite often. I would recommend you to do so as well. They got some really, really cool songs on there. Those games seem cool. It's really neat that it's on Switch. Seems like a perfect Switch game. And just wanted to come here in this podcast and let you know about it. Some other things I saw. There's some Ghostbuster stuff going on. There's a new Ghostbuster game that came out the 18th called Ghostbusters Spirit Unleash. I can't tell if this is a multiplayer only game, but it looks like it might be. I watched Nextlander play some of this. They were kind of lukewarm on it. They were just saying there wasn't a whole lot of complexity to it. But it basically looks like you build a team either with friends or with AI partners. You go into like a stage or an arena kind of thing, and you're trying to capture a ghost. So you're supposed to like set a trap for it, try to lure it into certain areas, try to team up to capture that fool, and then there's other things coming at you on the screen. So some of that stuff looked kind of fun and possibly could be fun with a group of people, but they were saying there wasn't too much to it beyond that. But there was some cool fanfare stuff in there. Just walking around looking some of the Ghostbusters stuff looked cool. But they were even talking that there's never really been a great Ghostbuster game, and maybe that's true. I kind of have some nostalgia for the 2009 one. I remember getting that from Blockbuster back in the day. And actually, I had to look it up, but they remastered that game in 2019, so it may be cool to check that out again and see if it's still like neat. But I have a good feeling maybe it doesn't hold up. But Ghostbusters are cool. I kind of got excited when I saw there was a new one, but I don't think it's the best sign if I didn't know anything about it. And it looks like it could be just mediocre-ish from what I take, but I feel like if you love some Ghostbusters, which I just like it, I don't love it. If you love it, maybe this would be something you want to try, just because you could, do some living in the Ghostbuster world. That looks really cool, or it looks sort of cool. Something else that looked really cool I saw was the Final Fantasy 16 Ambition trailer. And this was really cool looking. Some of like the I guess they're just cutscenes, but like the view of the city looked really neat. It looked really epic. At the end of has a splash screen that said summer 2023 release date. So I don't know. I've never really beaten a Final Fantasy game, but this is something I'd like to look at and see. I kind of wonder just from the way it looks. Like it kind of looks. The game's called Ambitious, and I was about to say ambitious, but it does look ambitious with the the style of the graphics and stuff. The way this game looks, it looks huge, open, kind of like crazy scenery. And if they're saying summer 2023, that's technically that's 8 months away or whatever, or 6 months. It's not that far. So my guess on this, on the Dep Lewis Show podcast, here's a prediction for you: that game is going to get pushed. I'm not saying that by any hate or anything. I'm just going to guess, and I don't know if that game's even been pushed already, but it just seems like a long shot for that huge of an ordeal to be coming out that soon. But we will see. The trailer looked really cool. Final Fantasy 16, I guess is what that is. XVI. Ambition. Looking very ambitious out there. And then something else that I saw this week, kind of related to Final Fantasy, because that makes me think of PlayStation a lot, is they have a new DualSense coming out for PlayStation. It's called a DualSense Edge. I was just kind of thinking this week how much I like the normal PS5 controller so much. You know, that has the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers. I finally kind of been realizing how to use those adaptive triggers. It really did take a little bit. I mean, I've had that console since June or something like that. But every time I grab that controller, I forget how cool it is. And this week's announcement is basically just like a beefed up PS5 controller. It's a DualSense Edge, and it'll run you $200, so $199.99. Pre-orders begin next Tuesday, so October 25th, 2022. This is it's kind of reminiscent of the Xbox. I guess it's called the Elite controller, but this is the first ever ultra customizable controller developed by PlayStation, and it'll launch globally January 26, 2023. So you got to pre-order this thing in the next couple of days, and you can get this thing after Christmas in January. So it can be your start of the New Year gift to yourself if you want one. And some of the hype around this thing it's built with high performance and personalization in mind. It has replaceable stick modules that will also be globally available on the 26th of January 2023 for $19.99. You can pre-order these on the same day, October 25th. So that's pretty cool. This thing just seems really, really customizable. Maybe not something that I would ever need, but it's cool that it's an option. This would be something if I was just super, super rich, I would buy one just to check it out. But I don't know how necessary all these things on this controller would be for me. It's got a million different options. I would probably just be overthinking all the time of what option to do, but I don't know. It just seems cool. It would be cool just to see what it looked like and see how it felt and stuff, but really neat. So it has button remapping. You can fine-tune the stick sensitivity and the triggers. It's got 3 changeable sets of stick caps and 2 changeable sets of back buttons, so you can really be like, this is the best way to play with my DualSense Edge. Your DualSense Edge setup. It'll be like your rig. It's like a vaping rig. You'd be talking down on people's vaping rigs like, oh shit, you got the stupid stick caps on yours, you dumbass. Oh, you don't even use the changeable set of back buttons? What the fuck? Noob-ass noob. But this thing comes in a carrying case. It has a USB connection, and you can charge this controller while it's plugged in, so that's badass. So you can have this thing in the case, charging up, ready for your gaming, ready for on the go whenever you need. So you can pull that bitch out and show people what's up on the interwebs or in person, but ultimately you're showing your hand, hey, this thing's comfortable. This thing's personalized to me. So that's really neat. If you want to drop $200 on a controller, that's an option for you out here. But I saw one thing online saying this thing will cost you about half as much of a console. So I know it seems crazy, but that Elite controller has been doing the same damn thing for years, and they've made multiple versions of that Elite controller, so it's obviously selling. It's obviously a market for it, so it's cool that Sony's doing the same thing. This is their first iteration of it, so I expect to see more iterations of this thing. So it just kind of makes sense. It's kind of like a luxury item for gaming. So if you want to do that, remember to pre-order on the 25th, and that's just something else out there that you can buy. So there's a good bit of gaming stuff this week. I think next week, the 28th is coming up, and that is the day. That's Call of Duty Day. So Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 comes out on the 28th, and Bayonetta 3 comes out on the 28th. I don't think I'll be playing either one of those. There's a chance I could want to play some COD if I get caught up in the hype of that, but I don't really see myself doing that. I played some of the beta, and it was fun, and it looks really cool, and I love the Modern Warfare if I have to play Call of Duty, but I don't think there's much chance I'd be playing a lot of Call of Duty. One thing I did mention was the campaign was seeming neat. I saw there were people streaming, or maybe it was the Call of Duty folks who were showing off the campaign this week, and I tried to watch a little bit of that, but I didn't end up watching too much of it. But I did hear that, or I saw Jeff Gerstmann on Twitter was saying, and someone else was agreeing, that it just looked expensive. So he was saying that in a good way. Like maybe it was like the cutscenes or just the graphics. Just saying it looked like they put a lot of money into making the campaigns. I mean, that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll think about getting it, but we'll see. So next week I should have some more to talk about, video game wise. I'm going to obviously keep playing some games, some Vampire Survivors, some Overwatch 2, some Splatoon 3. I need to possibly pick a game to try to finish, or something I can have an end on it. And then, watch out for some of these upcoming releases that I could possibly talk about next week, because these are pretty big deals to some people. Pretty big deals for the video game industry and for the particular players that love those games. So it's really cool to keep up with this. I was just thinking this week, Splatoon 3. I've never really been into the first or second one a lot, but for some reason this game hit and I really like it. So there's probably a ton of other games out there like that for me and for you. So this podcast is a good way to learn about some of that stuff. So this is the end of the video game section. We're going to take another break. Welcome back to the final section of Dep Lewis Show episode 3. We're here to talk about a few things sports related, then I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you get back to your normal life out there in the world. Make you have to wait a whole another week to hear the Dep Lewis Show. But that's okay, because I'll be back. But we're going to talk about the sports world. The Dep Lewis Show official favorite football team of the National Football League is the Carolina Panthers. And this week, the Carolina Panthers traded 2 of their offensive starters. In the greatest effort of winning in history, you got to get rid of some of your best players, because that's how it works, right? But no. But they got rid of Robbie Anderson. They traded him for a 6th round pick in 2024, and a 7th round pick in 2025. Last week, he had a blow up on the sideline with his receivers coach. Got up in his face, helmet to face. Said a few expletives to him. Got kicked out of the game. And a day later, gets traded to the Arizona Cardinals for some draft picks. So, not a huge surprise there. The Panthers are doing terrible. Robbie Anderson gets paid a lot of money. He has not been producing, whether or not that is because the team sucks or because of his own merit, but it probably is a little bit unclear with how bad this team is, of how good any of these players are, if they even are good. But, who knows? So Robbie Anderson's out of town. Got him out of here. I kind of like Robbie Anderson, but can't really see a resolution to this one. So he's gone. Panthers are probably happy. Robbie's probably pretty happy. Panthers got to keep paying him. They got some dead cap this year for $10.2 million. So that's awesome. And next year, $9.7 million dead cap for the Robbie Anderson contract. So bravo. Great decision. Oh, yeah. Pay for players that aren't here. Really, really cool. So another trade that happened this week was this Christian McCaffrey trade. So the Panthers' best offensive player on their terrible offensive team is now gone. So there's a million different ways to think about this. I guess, the ownership thinking is Christian McCaffrey won't hit the window for where the team is actually good. So they're going to get rid of him for some assets. They got a 2nd round pick, a 3rd round pick, a 4th round in 2023, and they got a 5th round in 2024. I believe I heard the GM Scott Fitterer say this kind of equated to a 1st round pick, a late 1st round pick altogether. So, I don't know. CMC's out of town. He went to the 49ers, who could actually be contending. But I don't know. You trade away your best offensive player on a team that has terrible offense. It just makes you think, what's the offense going to look like this week? But I don't know. It's just going to be more wide ass open, I guess. It's going to force other people to have to step up. I don't know. It's probably going to go horribly, would be my guess. The Panthers are playing, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this week. And they got P.J. Walker starting. Sam Darnold's come off the IR. And apparently says he's ready to go. So, I don't know. We're going to have to watch the stupid shit of, you watch one quarterback for a few series, he struggles. They bring in the next guy, and then he struggles just as much or even worse. So it's like, it's just ridiculous. They haven't stuck to a quarterback or given one guy a shot in years. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to see any of that this season. All the questions that media people keep asking the Panthers brass or whatever is, are you tanking? It's just funny to see him answer that. They're like, it's like, no. I mean, it's just kind of a ridiculous question to ask them if they're tanking. They're never going to say, yeah, we're trying to trade away our best players because we suck and we're going to try to get the best pick next year. But they are doing some version of that. This is future planning. This is not, they're not going all in trying to win the ship this year by trading your best player. So it's just kind of stupid. And I don't know. They do an okay job of like the ownership of saying this. They can't straight up tell you this shit because that's just not how it works. But But you can read between the lines and see what they're doing here. It's like all this shit's a gamble anyways. All these picks they got for CMC could be shit. And CMC could go to the 49ers and, win the MVP of the Super Bowl or some crazy shit, There's no telling about this. And I don't know. Not as happy with the CMC part of this. Robbie Anderson seemed like it just had to happen. CMC, I would have liked for him to continue. But I can sort of see the vision. I'll be more upset next week if I'm back here talking about DJ Moore getting traded or Brian Burns or Derek Brown or somebody, one of the young defenders or something. I feel like the rest of the team left is basically a young nucleus where they could build upon. They obviously need a lot more pieces and some coaching, but they do have some good pieces, I feel like. So I don't want to see them get traded just for more future hope. All this future hope, you never know how it's going to hit. So these guys are young. I think Brian Burns is 24. It's like, come on, guys. There is some good here. So Panthers this week, probably going to be on the disappointing train again, but we'll see. They're playing Tampa Bay tomorrow. Tampa Bay's PJ Walker. We'll see how it goes. We'll probably see some Sam Darnold's, my guess. We got Dante Foreman coming in at running back, and we got Chuba. Someone picked up Chuba off the waiver wire in fantasy, so I kind of think that's a bold move, but we'll see. Obviously, I'm hoping that the Panthers can get a win because that would be fun to watch. But don't hope out there too much, people. Don't hope for me because you'll be disappointed too. You don't want secondhand disappointment from a team that's not doing great. And another team, the official NBA team of the Dep Lewis Show is the Atlanta Hawks. Their season started Tuesday night against the Houston Rockets, and it started in a W, which is amazing. Trae Young and Dejounte Murray and John Collins, the big three. The big three all balled out. I think John Collins even had the most points. I think Trae and DeJounte both had double-doubles. Got Okongwu and Clint Capella out there doing their thing. They were playing Nuck If You Buck at the beginning of the game in the Hawks arena. So, everything they're doing right now is seeming great. When they played the Rockets, they got to see the rookie Jabari Smith. Looked okay. He was in the Final Four with Auburn last year. And then the Hawks beat the Magic last night, where Paolo Banchero, that guy's looking insanely good. But the Hawks were able to get a dub on him, on his rookie self. But it looks like the Magic may have a guy with that Banchero. He already kind of looks like one of the grownest-ass mans on the court. And looks like he has some skill and finesse too, and definitely some power. So that's pretty exciting for Orlando because they've been stinking it up for a long time. So the Hawks' next game is Sunday against the Hornets. So Hornets are supposed to be one of the worst teams in the league, I think. So hopefully the Hawks can be 3-0 at the end of that. And that's just a nice little touch here for the Dep Lewis Show to have some sports hope going on since the Braves got ousted and the Panthers are looking like a train wreck. So the Hawks starting off real strong. DeJounte Murray is looking amazing. If this keeps going well, I'll have to start thinking about a jersey possibly. But we'll see. It felt weird busting out my Trae Young jersey because, it's cold out. It's just weird. The NBA season will go through June. So this is the very, very early stages of that. But it felt cool to have basketball back and see some of my dudes out there balling. So thank you for all those guys. And I wish them all a lot of success. So that's going to be it for this week. I want to thank you for listening out there. I really, really, really appreciate it. I hope you continue to listen. I'm going to be back next week for episode 4. I'm going to play some games this week. I'm going to watch some games this week. I'm going to watch some sports this week. And then next week, I'm going to be back to talk about it. So thank you as always. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye.